What's up, guys? Welcome to the first episode, episode 0. It's a little introduction episode of the Wheels2Walking podcast. My name's Andrew Deitsch. I'm joined here with my friend Richard Corbett.
Hey, guys, what's going on?
Richard, for those who are brand new to the podcast and don't know who you are or what you do, give us a little info on who you are.
Sure. About 10 years ago, I fell 50 feet and got a spinal cord injury as a result of that fall, and now use a wheelchair. I make YouTube videos for new wheelchair users to help them improve their quality of life and regain independence. And Andrew is the guy who actually shoots, edits, and produces all my videos.
Yeah, so basically, I've been podcasting for about 2.5 years. I've been, like Richard said, producing all the Wheels2Walking videos for the past year. And I'm proud to say that we've gotten over 6 million views on our videos so far on YouTube. I think
you've looked more recently than I have.
Yeah, I think we're at like 6 million on YouTube, at least 1 million on Facebook. So our channel is doing really well, which is super exciting. Richard and I actually, believe it or not, by the roughness of this intro podcast, we've been podcasting for about a year. We've done about 40 episodes of a secret podcast that was on Patreon. So you had to pay, I think it was $1, right?
$1, yeah.
You have to pay $1 on Patreon. You can actually still get access to all those old podcasts. But so we've actually been doing this for a while, and it was a long time coming, but we're taking the podcast public. So this is the first episode that's available to the public, not behind a paywall. So this is really exciting for us. We're also joined here by our producer of the podcast, AJ Clark.
Hello, everyone.
AJ is off camera, so if you're watching the video, you won't really see AJ. Maybe in the future we'll have a little secret AJ cam. But
if you hear a third voice pipe in, don't be confused. It's AJ.
It's me.
It's AJ, and he's the producer. So think of him, if you listen to Joe Rogan's podcast, as Young Jamie, or H3 podcast, he's the Dan or Ian. So he's just the guy who's running the sound and the cameras and everything for us. But I feel like we kind of need to get into why this podcast is so important, why people should listen.
Yeah, so the podcast for us was like a second creative outlet where we could document the history of what we were doing while we were doing it, and kind of get support from all of our other listeners and people that watch our YouTube channel. And we could talk about what we were doing on the YouTube channel and all of our travels and journeys and stories. And it was also just a fun way to kind of like kick off our shoes and relax and just talk trash. And
we literally recorded some like in a bed.
Yeah, no, literally we have pictures of one where we were like in a bed one night. And one time I started playing on my phone, and you're like, Richard, are you on your phone right now? I'm like, yes, I am. And it was a great way to kind of not have to be so, I guess, clean. You know, with YouTube right now, the way that you keep your money is by not cursing and kind of keeping things more PG, maybe PG-13.
Advertiser friendly.
More advertiser friendly. It's not like we're kid friendly by any means, but we're not, grotesque. But on the podcast, we could kind of be allowed to just do and say whatever we want and cuss if we want and talk about weird, strange, potentially controversial topics.
Yeah. And another thing that's cool about podcasting is you can talk about like anything. Like I think rabbit trails are just a big part of podcasting. You kind of just go off on different tangents and stuff. And with the Wheels2Walking channel, again, it's for newly injured wheelchair users or new wheelchair users or people, that are just growing up and figuring this whole wheelchair life out. It's definitely catered towards that. That's the message of the main YouTube channel. And this is an opportunity for us because we have a lot to say. We have a lot of opinions about different other subjects that don't necessarily directly involve wheelchair users and everything.
Exactly.
So it's a place where also I can jump on board because I still have my podcast called the Andrew Deitsch podcast, but I'm basically putting that podcast on hold to put more of my focus towards the Wheels2Walking podcast these days. And I think it's really interesting because also like I'm the able-bodied perspective in this whole thing.
And I'm the disabled perspective. And the thing is, the YouTube videos are the disabled perspective. I'm the one on screen. I'm the one who chooses the topic. I'm the one who sets up the videos and creates the travel. And I'm the one who kind of like goes, oh, this is stuff I needed to learn. This is stuff that I want to talk about. And I'm mostly in control, except for what you do behind the scenes and the edit of what happens in those videos. And this is more of a mainstream play for people that either are not wheelchair users or maybe not new wheelchair users or just regular people that want to know, what we're up to and what it's about. Because again, it's a unique perspective. Like I'm a disabled guy. He's not a disabled guy. We're both into a lot of the same things, but we also have a lot of different thoughts and opinions and beliefs on a lot of different topics, ranging from, YouTube algorithms all the way to picking out wheelchairs. I mean, it's going to be a really fun way to kind of have our mainstream play instead of just be exactly only wheelchair focused. We're kind of spread that out a little bit. We'll still have conversations with disability. I mean, that's a huge part of this, but
yeah, exactly. And I think it's really important. Like, we just have to have this like outlet because we have so many more thoughts and opinions on things, not just pertaining to the disability space. It's like, yes, you're a wheelchair user, but that is only one facet of who you are as a human.
And honestly, a very small facet. One of the reasons why I'd created Wheels2Walking is because I had a lot to say, but nowhere to say it. And I've realized I have even more to say than what I can really put on my channel without messing up the channel. Like, that's a kind of an unfortunate reality of YouTube these days, is you have to stay on topic. And the second you make a video that's not a video about your niche, the algorithm doesn't favor that and you lose. And we're trying to win. So we take strategy when it comes to our content.
Exactly. So the main channel is the destination for by and for wheelchair users and all that kind of stuff, but the podcast is for everybody, and it's just two really good friends chatting it up. One just happens to be a wheelchair user, the other one happens to not, and it's just really exciting because we've been podcasting basically in secret almost for about a year, and it's just really exciting because we've got a brand new studio here. We're going to be making some changes to the set in the next few days and coming weeks and everything. So everything's going to be evolving, but we're finally so stoked. We just got our new Wheels2Walking sign in behind us. So it's very, very exciting stuff happening.
And what makes us a great team is that you have your areas of expertise. I have my areas of expertise, but we both have a clear vision of what we want to happen. So we can have a conversation where it's like, I may not be able to physically do a particular thing, but I know how to tell you how to do it.
Exactly.
And the vice versa is true, where like you may have a particular vision about something, but you don't know how to like wrap it up into a certain way. And you'd be like, do this. And I'm like, oh, okay. So we'll make that happen. And it's really cool because we're both like head to the ground, feet forward, like driven fast, and since it's a team, we can just pass off work back and forth about what the other person is better at.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's one thing that's really cool about our friendship and our team is that we are so dead focused on Wheels2Walking right now. And I think one thing that a lot of people haven't realized, actually our latest video was like a Q&A where I was finally like on screen talking a little bit.
People didn't know you existed.
And people didn't really even know that I existed. People didn't know that that you had an editor. And I think we've talked about it a lot. Like, I'm almost just as much of a part of Wheels2Walking as a whole as you are, and sometimes even more, maybe even more, just Absolutely. Because there's editing and production and like all the actual final like quote unquote work that goes into what you see on the screen on YouTube. A lot of it is me, like probably even more than 50% a lot of the times.
I think of it this way: anything that is visual and that has been edited is what you've been in charge of. And that goes website, that goes merchandise, that goes videos.
That goes design for everything.
That goes everything. Anything.
Even the sign, even like.
the sign, any design. And I think for me is a lot of the like relationship building and the planning and the writing and the building and like the infrastructure.
And the strategy behind the videos and the research.
Strategy and research and titles and tagging and like anything that is required that isn't actually technical, I guess. Mm-hmm. It's technical, but it's a different type of skill.
Yeah, exactly. And the other thing that's really interesting is like in the video making process, I don't necessarily get to have that voice. Like I'm sharing and chopping up Richard's voice, but it's cool because I think the podcast really gives us a chance to have our voices together, which we vibe really well together. We hang out together all the time. I mean, like we're basically in each other's lives like constantly, except for on the weekends when you're hanging out with your girlfriend. It's pretty much just us. Like if we're not working on Wheels2Walking stuff, we're doing our own thing. So
I spend time at the gym with you and my girlfriend, and that's literally it.
Yeah.
Like you guys are definitely like key players in my life. And I'd say more than friends, we're definitely best friends when it comes to stuff like that.
We were literally having that discussion right before this. We're like, are we best friends? Are we friends or what? Cause I'm like,
no, we definitely are best friends. I just don't usually say that.
Me neither.
I don't usually speak it out loud.
Yeah, no. And actually it's funny because before we met, like I didn't have anyone that I would like necessarily consider my best friend, but like right now I would say that you're definitely my best friend. So
yeah, for real. Like it's not the bromance is real, and it's a known fact that I know that I cannot survive as a business, as Wheels2Walking, as a creative person without you, and the opposite is true.
Yeah, and I can't make Wheels2Walking videos without Richard. I mean, I think about it all the time, and we'll get into this in the future podcast, but like you are not Wheels2Walking without me, and I am not Wheels2Walking without you for sure.
And this is a way. Just how it goes. This is a way to get you for everyone to kind of know Andrew a little bit more, because it's funny. We've shown up to videos before with collaborations with other wheelchair users, and they hear Andrew speak, and they go, "Holy shit, that's literally like exactly how you talk." I'm like, duh,
because I'm the puppet master.
He's the puppet master. Like we'll in the middle of a shoot be like. We'll be shooting lines back and forth to each other. It's like, yeah, I may be on the screen, like I may be the voice, but it's both of our words.
Totally,
like, it's literally both of our words. And yeah, I may be like the figurehead of it, but he's almost in a way like he's more than a producer. He's actually like a part of the writing process and like the creative process. And there's been plenty of times where like we'll show up to a shoot with like a very specific thing in mind that I've like planned out to the T. And then it just doesn't work, or we have to change it, we have to shift it, and it's all because of Andrew's inputs. And we trust each other enough to be like, yo, that was crap, that was dumb, do it again, that's lame. Like we very much know that there's no feelings in this. Like we're just trying to make a sick product.
Yeah, exactly. So basically, that's the Wheels2Walking podcast. If you are new here, which hopefully you're here at the launch, you're our OG day one homies. The best thing that you can do right now is we're really trying to get on the new and noteworthy page, which is basically on the Apple Podcasts. They have a section on the homepage for podcasts where they feature new and noteworthy podcasts. The three main metrics to getting on new and noteworthy is subscribers. So go to Apple Podcasts and subscribe. Plays and downloads. Play and download all of our episodes. We're going to have like 5 or 6 at launch. So when you go in, there'll be this one and probably 5 more. So go and play and download all of them. Go binge them all. And then the last metric is ratings and reviews. Now, there's a way to rate. You can just rate 5 stars and that's it. And then there's also a way to review, which is a 5-star rating plus a written review. And those actually count more. They're weighed more. So if you really are an OG, day one, true homie, please, 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 it would really help us out, especially in these first couple days of the podcast launching. Go to Apple Podcasts, give us a nice review, leave us a nice little review, subscribe, and listen to all of our episodes.
A lot of people are always in my DMs, always asking me questions.
Yeah.
And that's cool because that means you guys want to know more about me and you want to know more about Andrew. And we do our best to do like Instagram polls and questions and answers and ask me anything's videos. And we do our best to have all this information available. We got the untold story, like there's a lot of people out there that want to know a lot about us. And this is going to help not just educate people about us and Wheels2Walking and the mission, what we're up to, but like a lot of people already know that this is a valuable thing. This is something that is
totally
more than just like, we're YouTubers trying to make money and get famous. Like, no, we're trying to help people.
There's a big purpose.
There's a huge purpose behind it. And so by rating and reviewing and downloading and subscribing, like that is going to help the bigger picture of everything else. And
exactly,
you might think to yourself like, oh, well, someone else will do it. But the truth is that's not always the case. So like, it's very, very important and very helpful if like you, like specifically you that's listening, like the person I'm talking to right now, jump on Apple Podcasts, rate, review, and make it happen for us.
And if it
really means a lot.
And if you're an Android user like myself, you can do it on your computer. If you download iTunes, you can do it there. I know that's an extra step, but it would really mean a lot. And if we can get as many reviews as possible, that would be awesome.
Yeah. And if you guys are coming over from the original podcast, like we don't even have to ask you. We know because after every episode, we always get messages about how much you loved and enjoyed and stuff you want to comment about.
Exactly.
messages. I think we're also going to have a Facebook group that's going to be available for you guys to join if you want to like continue the conversations that we have here, because sometimes the YouTube comments can be just a cesspool of nonsense.
Exactly. So we're going to have all those links in the podcast description. And as always, go subscribe to our YouTube channels and everything. This podcast is also available in video form, which is exciting. So go check out our channels there, and go listen to the rest of our episodes. Start with episode 1 and binge them all.
After you're done reviewing, which
exactly.
What you're gonna do?
Go leave the review and then press play on that episode 1, baby.
Yeah, there's episodes available right now. Go check them out.
Sweet. Thanks, guys. See ya.
Thanks, everyone.